Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Headwaters Science Center daily science show every day at 3:30 for the last several months. Our staff at the Headwaters Science Center has been doing science shows on all different kinds of topics, and you're welcome to view them. They're archived on YouTube and watch from the previous topics. And before I get started, I want to thank the members of Beltrami Electric Cooperative who participate in the Roundup program, where they can round up their bill to the nearest whole number, and that spare change collected by the whole cooperative helps fund our programs at the Headwaters Science Center, our science and technology shows, and also lots of other community things. So thank you. And today is a special day. We have a great audience here too. Who can raise their hand and tell me what is special about today? Today is kind of a holiday? Yeah.
Today is Father's Day.
Today is Father's Day. So today I'm going to be having a conversation with you about Father's Day, about fathers, about maybe people who are not fathers, animals who are not fathers who also take care of young. And yesterday was a holiday, a new holiday as a federal holiday, but a holiday that's been celebrated for many, many years. What was that holiday?
Father's Day.
Yeah, that is a holiday that in Minnesota, northern Minnesota, not many people maybe are used to celebrating. It's a holiday called Juneteenth. And what is Juneteenth? What was Juneteenth? Do you guys know? Right. So Juneteenth is a day when many people celebrate the end of slavery, the end of chattel slavery in the United States. It was the day that enslaved people in Texas, found out that they were no longer enslaved and celebrated. Okay, and it kind of took a while for them really to be free, and the work for freedom, work for equality is still happening. But sort of along that, I took a little bit of time myself to kind of reflect and to read about how enslaved people have contributed to science. So one of the things I've been thinking about, one of the things I've been doing is reading about, last week I brought in some butterflies for us to look at. And we have lots of other collections. We have birds, we have some more butterflies downstairs. And the history of people collecting and preserving butterflies and birds and plants from all over the world, a lot of that was connected with the slave trade. And a lot of the people who actually did the collecting have not been acknowledged. So there's always it's always good to keep learning and keep exploring. And I've also been thinking about how humanities makes us better scientists. But before I talk too much, I want to follow up last week's show. Last week, I talked about monarch butterflies and how they travel from Mexico all the way up here to northern Minnesota and to Manitoba and Ontario, and then how a super generation makes it all the way back to Mexico. And so I brought in some caterpillars actually from my yard, and we got to watch. We've been watching them go from pretty small to a little bit bigger. And maybe if all of you who are here maybe want to stand up so you can see the screen, the live audience. This morning at around 12:30, when I came in to get the Science Center ready for you all, I checked on our caterpillars to see how they were doing, and we got to watch one of our caterpillars turn into a chrysalis. So caterpillars, maybe I need to, maybe it's up. I need to come around where I can see. You can see the caterpillar is, building their cocoon, right? Well, cocoon, so we sometimes say cocoons, but that's actually not the right word. Moths make cocoons, and cocoons are soft and kind of silky, like a silk moth will make a cocoon. And butterflies make a chrysalis. Okay, so it's kind of soft and stretchy as they're making it. And then once it hardens, it's hard, okay? And it's a chrysalis. So what do you think? Have you ever seen that before? So I invite the audience who's here and those of you who are watching the recording of the live show to get out and look for milkweed plants and other butterfly friendly plants and see maybe you can watch that too. Okay? So get outside and see what you can do. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, people who watch this. And we also have another one right up here who maybe will make a chrysalis very soon too. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I'll show the camera. Yeah, it's okay if you want to come up and look. Maybe I'll show the camera. Our caterpillar who's still eating very hungrily. Okay? And then we have the two chrysalises. I think that's the plural, huh? One, and then the chrysali. And just because I think this is interesting, because we have lots of kids who are interested too. So caterpillars eat a lot, and they also, right? Because I'm talking to kids, I'm going to say they poop a lot too, right? This is their frass. This is their kind of their scat, the caterpillar poop. And I always think it's kind of interesting that they make a lot, don't they? And they eat a lot too. All right. So any questions about monarchs or monarch butterflies or chrysalises? Or, okay.
How long are they in their chrysalis?
About a week. About a week. But get out and look. You can, if you flip over the monarch leaves, you should be able to, if you look very carefully, they're tiny, tiny eggs, and you can sometimes find the very small caterpillars. But you got to get out there and look. And I usually have my 7 3/4-old son help me find them because usually kids are the best caterpillar finders. Okay, so now for the third part of my show today, I want to talk a little bit about Father's Day. And one of the things I really love about working at the Science Center is I see lots of dads and uncles and big brothers come here and interact with kids. And I just think it's a great opportunity. The Headwaters Science Center is a great place for that. So I have a story about, I'm calling it a Father's Day story, but it's not about a father. Because I really want to encourage fathers, but also other people who are not fathers, to do the roles of taking care of children. And this is a story about a wolf pack, but wolves and people have really, really similar social interactions. So I think that almost more than any other animals that I know of, wolves and humans have a lot in common on how we live and how we raise our kids. So this is a story called Scruffy. And I also chose this because I've been thinking a lot this week about how how things like art, photography, history, ethics, how those are all really important in science, and how those make us better scientists. So this is the story of Scruffy by a photographer named Jim Brandenburg. And many of you, maybe grown-ups, have you heard of Jim Brandenburg? No? Kids, have you heard of Jim Brandenburg? He is I think he lives a lot of his life in Ely, Minnesota, and has a gallery there. But he has worked for the National Geographic magazine and produced many, many books. Okay, so this is the story of Scruffy. A wolf finds his place in the pack. Can you see over there? Yeah? Scruffy, a young white Arctic wolf, lives in a faraway frozen place called Ellesmere Island. He was born the year before I arrived, so he was no longer a pup. But he wasn't an adult member of his pack yet. If Scruffy if Scruffy had been a human, he probably would have been called a teenager. He had a lot of the same problems people have trying to grow up. But he also had a bigger problem, staying alive. Ellesmere Island is not far from the North Pole. So it's very cold, down to 70 degrees below zero in the winter. And if the cold isn't much, it's also a desert. It's very dry. Okay, so it's a very hard place to live. So I'm going to go through, and what I can do is I can go more in depth with this book later on, if people want to. But here he's an artist, Jim Brandenburg, and some of the pictures he takes. Can you see Scruffy? How he looks really scruffy? And the pack, he's kind of a silly wolf. He doesn't really fit in. He's not a good hunter.
Why is he not a good hunter?
Well, he's kind of young and he hasn't learned how to be a good hunter yet. But he has a special job in the pack. You can see, in a wolf pack, it's the leaders, the alpha male and the alpha female. Those are the ones who get to eat first. And Scruffy, they didn't let him eat right away. Okay, he tried to hunt, but he gets chased by and charged by a musk axe. Okay, but Scruffy has a really important job in the pack, and his job is he takes care of the pups when the older, more experienced wolves are out hunting. Okay, so while the other wolves are out hunting, he's helping the wolf pups learn how to be grown-up wolves, or how to be older wolves. He wrestles with them and plays so that they learn how to be strong, right? And alert and good, good hunters, and also so they can bond together and work together. Okay, so he watches and takes care of them while the older ones are away. One time he brought the younger ones a fox that was actually already dead, but he sort of was helping them learn how to hunt the fox, but in a way that they could. Well, because what would a live fox do? Probably run away and might bite them, right? Yeah, just like you kind of play with, do you ever play with toys? Yeah, so it was something for them to learn how to use that was safe for them, right? Maybe you play with play cars, right? But if you played with real cars, you might get hurt, right?
What?
Do you ever play with play cars, toy cars? Can you play with real cars? No, right? Because you might get hurt, right? And so they can play with a dead fox, because the dead fox won't bite them, right? It won't run away.
How did they kill a dead fox, or how would they kill it if it was alive?
I don't know. That's not part of the story, but probably they chased him. And they might have bit him on the neck. Yeah. So, yeah, Scruffy did lots and lots of things, even into the early fall and the winter. So his job, he was not the father of these pups, but he did a lot to take care of and raise his younger siblings. And even the next year, where there was a new litter of pups, he also took care of them. Okay, so on Father's Day, I want to think about the fathers, and also other people and other animals who do the same jobs of taking care of young pups in our community. All right, so here he is, looking very scruffy. All right, well, thank you very much, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers and everybody else who helps take care of our young pups out in our community. All right. The Headwaters Science Center is open every day from 9:30 until 5. except on Sundays.